Hi there, my name's Peter Morton and I live in a Renfrewshire Council social housing rented property that is supposed to be adapted for independent living of someone who has quite severe disabilities. Been brought up in Springburn, in the Gorbals and the Gallowgate in Glasgow, with a room and kitchen with 11 people living in one house. The smells, the disgusting attitude of the people that owned the property. Now this was all supposed to be stopped in the 60s and the 70s, but here we are in the 21st century. And again, even though I've dragged myself out of the slums have come back to me. Here they're here. I'm living in slum conditions. I'm almost 50. I'm a retired engineer who had to give up work in 2006 to look after my wife who'd been left in a wheelchair after an accident during surgery. For 2 years I spent trying to get Renfrewshire Council to move me out of an upstairs flat with a view to preserving the little mobility that I had left. They failed, and after 2 years of living in the upstairs flat with my wife in a wheelchair, the inevitable happened. I was trapped underneath the stair climber, did more damage. I left that house absolutely unattainable. I could not live in it. Renfrewshire Council then spent 18 months trying to find me a property, and they offered me this property. Now, Renfrewshire Council is not only my landlord, but they are the social work department, but they're also the building inspector. So the property is owned wholly by Renfrewshire Council. The responsibility is owned wholly by Renfrewshire Council. The condition of the home is it's damp. It's not waterproof. The wind blows through it, so it's not windproof. The door locks me out or opens on its own, so it's not secure. So the three main reasons for having a secure Scottish Tenancy Act is to provide safe accommodation. And where obviously things like the Disability Discrimination or the Equalities Act come into play, they have the local authority, Renfrewshire Council, have an obligation to maintain the property in a manner that allows a disabled person to have an independent life. These things are heinous. These are crimes against my right to life, because it's changed the dynamic of how my disability is reacting to the environment that I'm living in. Within the corporation that is Renfrewshire Council, I have addressed every person from housing inspectors, property inspectors, through to individual managers. I've then went to heads of department, and I've now communicating directly with the chief executive in the housing and property and social work directors, to the extent that the last formal complaint to the social work department was for two employees of the Renfrewshire Council social work department turning up at my property stating that they had had a report that I was not taking medication. All the medication that I'm on, if I wasn't to take it, I would die. The medication that I'm on is managed by the resident enablement service to enable independent living from my GP surgery. So even in the interaction with the social work and highlighting to them, I'm getting no help. I then go to the housing and property services directors and management teams, etc., and highlight to them even today the breaches of UK legislation with regard to electrical safety or with regard to building regulations, and I'm being ignored, to the extent that I've registered formal complaints that have not even been acknowledged. And it goes round in circles. The more you tell them, the less they listen. 2002, 2006 and 2009 there was an awful lot of work done to the property to address condensation. It's not condensation. If the bricks have separated and there's liquid water coming in, this is penetrating moisture, this is dampness. It then gets to a stage where you then look at how the property and the condition of the property affects my disabilities. I'm now, because of the dampness and the spores and the low temperatures, I'm now having problems with my breathing, and I've now been prescribed steroids to try and deal with the implications that the property is having on me. To the extent that As you can see, I'm in the living room because I can't sleep in the bedroom. When I slept in the bedroom, over the last few months, I've been losing weight because my immune system's trying to fight off the damage for the mould spores. It's trying to fight off the low temperatures because my body's having to use glucose to generate heat. Having type 1 diabetes and neuropathy, this is very dangerous for any diabetic, let alone someone who has the physical disabilities that I have on top of it, and the frailty that leaves my physical health in. To that end, I've made certain modifications to the property that have left the property in a worse state than it was in before they started. For example, the front door, they've built a ramp on the inside of the house to meet the level of the ramp that was incorrectly set outside the house, which now results in the rain running down the door, coming into the property and running down the ramp on the inside of the property. This then puddles at the radiator, which I've got to walk past to get to the mail. Where you block up a fireplace and remove the chimney, you must vent it because water builds up. There's no vent in here. In the bedroom, there's no vent. When I complained, I was told that the vents were required and that I had drafts in my property because these vents were taking the moisture away. But I pointed out that there was no vent. The draft was coming from the broken parts of the brickwork, not any vent that was fitted to any chimney that was closed. None of the chimneys that have been closed have had vents fitted properly. But moreover, the building has subsided. The cracks have opened up in the brickwork, allowing water into the brickwork. That's consistently been ignored. Over the last 3 months, I've been using industry standard sensors from people like Dallas Semiconductors with a view to monitoring the humidity levels and temperature levels at various points within the property. These have reflected temperatures as low as 6 degrees, and that's not in the middle of winter. That shows that the property is compromised. What I've done then is amortised all that data into a graph and provided that graph to not only the social work department and the housing department, but the corporate directors, the chief executives. I have then provided that to the Scottish Parliament to highlight to them that this is an infringement of not a single right, but this is an infringement of the organisation because they have a bipolar existence where they inspect themselves, they provide the benefit to me, they provide all avenues of recourse to any of the issues that I have here. And what that means is I don't have any recourse. So data that these sensors are pulling out, it's actual empirical data that shows exactly what's happening. I've used them. I've then provided that data to the landlord who is Renfrewshire Council, and it's been completely ignored. But this is actual scientific empirical data provided by someone who has an awful lot of experience with people like British Nuclear Fuels, with British Aerospace, with Renfrewshire Council, or Strathclyde Police for their evidence and forensic databases. The issue that's of most concern to the medical profession is obviously my weight. Because having type 1 diabetes means I need to have a reserve. The real problem is, the issue here, because my immune system's under so much strain, my blood pressure's going up, I'm losing all the proteins. Living in the bedroom and sleeping in the bedroom 24 hours a day was killing me. Up until a few weeks ago, it was a case of managing with pain medication the events that were happening, because at that point we did not know the impact that the bedroom was having. As soon as I moved out of the bedroom, we've actually changed some of the things, like the medication for my kidneys have been changed because the effect is not being suffered from the bedroom, and that's a direct correlation to the effect that this property is having on my health. And as I says, the discussions with the GP have all been around, up until a few weeks ago, managing the conditions that I'm in, managing the fact that my life was ebbing away. A few weeks ago, when they released, under the Freedom of Information Act, the actual Latin name of the spores that I had been breathing for the 6 years that I've lived in the property, it was at that point that I got the resident enablement service to raise the height of the bedroom, raise the height of the bed and move it into the living room. And at that point, even though we thought it was going to help, we did not understand the implication. And instead of just making things a wee bit better, it's actually showed that it was actually the cause, because the weight stopped immediately. I stopped losing weight. Again, I'll point to the fact that I'm 8 stone 7. Again, I'll point to the fact that I have no reserves. So if my body needs heat, if my body needs to fight infection, I'm immediately tapped into muscle fibre. I'm immediately tapped into the tissues in my kidney, the tissues in my liver. This is how your body reacts. Your body breaks down these tissues when you don't have any of the energy available to you. I'm eating. I'm taking the same amount of insulin. But the only thing that's different is the fact that I'm not living in the bedroom anymore. I'm not sleeping in that bedroom. So the sleeping into the bedroom, breathing the spores in, my body having to fight to keep warm or etc. It's a direct correlation to the fact that I've moved out of the bedroom. What I'm really saying is the response that I've got back has no resemblance to the question that was asked. And repeatedly, what I get is statements of plausible deniability to allow them to placate the politicians and distract from the real issues, which are the lack of basic maintenance. We're not talking capital investment again, we're talking basic maintenance. Who's affected by this? It's the people at the lower end of society, right? The people who can pay their rent, the people who have an independent source of income. They're not subjected to these types of abuse. These types of abuse are reserved for people who in my predicament, where I have no independent income because I'm being extracted for the professional world for almost a decade now. You're ostracised, and the people that are left are the people who are at the bottom end of society, the people who are socially excluded, right? And that's just another point in the exclusion of the people at the bottom end of society.